Okay, so first thing I need to do is give you your tab because we're starting chapter 6. So if you will go to your next empty page of your composition book, and I'm going to come around and give you your tab. So if you'll write chapter 6 on that first empty page or that next empty page, and then chapter 6 on the tab. Okay, so chapter 6. Okay, so chapter 6. Okay, so chapter 6 is going to be short. So we will not have a quiz partway through the chapter. We'll just have a test on it because it's not going to be a very long chapter. So just know that. So usually if there's a short chapter, there's not really a reason to have a quiz. Quizzes are usually for we've got, quite a bit of stuff in our chapter and we need to kind of check partway through and make sure that everybody's understanding. Well, this is a very short chapter.
How many chapters are there?
I don't know yet.
There was only like
Okay, so our chapter is going to be on triangles. Okay, and so if you want to go ahead on your first page and just put triangles, you can do that. And 1 second, this is not picked up right. Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about triangles. So that's why our chapter is not all that long because there's not just a whole lot about triangles, but there are several different things we're gonna learn about one of those today. Yes. Oh, okay, hold on just a second. There we go. Okay, so you can just write triangles. Okay, on your first page, we're going to put the tabs. Hold on. Okay, so once you've written triangles, I want you to put your pencil down and I want you to look up because I'm going to show you something. And then we'll write it in your composition book in a minute. But I just want you to watch something for a minute, okay? And then we will write it in your composition book. So I just want you to watch for a minute, okay? So I need everybody pencils down. I need you watching. Okay, so all triangles have a base and a height, okay? And in math, a base is always a little b and height is always a little h. So if you see a little b, they don't even have to write out the word base. It means base, and little h means height. And I know it's crazy, but a big B is something different. So all those little kind of things make a difference in math, but a little b and a little h is base and height. Okay, I need everybody quit writing. Yeah, we're gonna write this down in a minute. It's gonna be up here. All right, so the base of anything, like for instance, this water bottle's base is right there because that's what it's sitting on. Okay, so a triangle can have more than one base because we could sit it like this. Okay, now on this particular kind of triangle, you see right here. Okay, it's got it's called a right angle, which is just an angle that looks like an L. So if it's a triangle like this, the base and height are actually part of the triangle. Here's our base. Okay, here's our base. And then our height is right here. Okay, because the height is how tall it is. Okay, why would it not make sense for this to be my height? If I measured this, is this going to show me how tall it is? No. This shows me how tall it is, okay? Now, what if I do this? I'm deciding that this is my base. So then what would my height be? Got it. So this kind of triangle, the only places, so this is nothing, okay? Well, it is, but as far as base and height, it's nothing. If this is my base, then this is my height. If this is my base, this is my height, okay? On this kind of triangle. Okay. Now we're going to look at this kind of triangle, okay? So if I decide that this triangle is going to sit here, okay, Mason. If I decide this triangle is going to sit like this, its height, for me to figure out how tall it is, it's going to be from here straight down.
Whoa.
Okay, here straight down. Now, when you see this on a picture, the height is gonna be a dotted line, okay? Because a dotted line in math is invisible, okay? Because on that triangle was actually part of the triangle. This one, that's an invisible line. If we decided to measure from here to here, we're measuring a line that's not really, it's an invisible line. So that would be a dotted line showing you where the height is. So one option is like this, okay? You're gonna have base and height, or base and height, or you're gonna have a triangle like this where you're gonna be able to see the height inside it, or it could be like this. Okay, now this is a triangle that leans back. Okay, so we've decided that this is our base. It's leaning back this way. Okay, so our base is here, and our height is actually going to be from here straight down, but it's going to be a dotted line because it's not really there. Because if we want to know how tall it is, we're going to measure from out here straight up to here. Okay, and it's going to be a dotted line. So those are basically the three places you're going to find the base and height. All right. But we need to add one thing to your composition book, because there's one word that you need to understand. And let me actually turn this off so y'all can see it a little better. There's one word that you need to know to make sure you always find the base and height, and that is this. Okay, perpendicular lines. So if you'll just draw, so you just draw yourself two lines like this, like one this way and one this way. Okay, and the reason you need to know the word perpendicular is because the base and height always make perpendicular lines. So once you find the base and you know that the height's got to be perpendicular to it, then it's easy. So here's my base. The height's got to be coming straight down to where it makes 90-degree angles all the way around, which is just angles that are L-shaped. So like, for instance, if I had a triangle right here, okay, there's my base, and my height's coming straight down to meet it. But it's always going to hit it at a perpendicular. Okay, so just write that down so that you've got that word. Because, like, if we're looking at base and height, when we're having trouble finding it, I'll say, okay, what would make it perpendicular to the base? Okay? And then we are going to draw in your composition book just a picture of each of the things that we just said. Okay? So here are the three places you're going to find base and height. Okay, here's this triangle that we looked at. Okay, and so the base and the height are here and here, or vice versa, depending on if you decide to turn it that way. Again, base and height. So just, you can draw one of those. And remember, you don't have to write out base and height. You can just put B and H. Okay, the middle triangle is like this gold spotted one we looked at. Okay, again, the base is here, so the height's inside it, but it's invisible. So make sure you make that a dotted line because that's not really there. It's invisible. And then the last triangle is like this black and white striped one that we looked at. It's leaning backwards. And so the base is here, but the height is from the tip straight down. Okay, and again, even though the base isn't really there, if it were there, it would be perpendicular to it. But those are basically the three places you're going to find the base and height of a triangle. Okay, those are the three places. Okay, while you're writing that down, I'm going to bring you around a yellow sheet. And then I'll tell you what we'll do with it. We're going to actually cut it, part of it out, and we're going to glue it into our composition book after we look at it. So, we're just going to find the base and height on these triangles. Okay, you should have each one of those triangles written in here. Okay, so all you're going to do on this yellow sheet is you're just going to cut off the border so that it will fit in our composition book. So just cut off the border of this yellow sheet, and I'll get your scraps in a minute. So cut off the border of this yellow sheet. Okay, so all you're doing is just cutting off the border, and that's just so it'll fit. Okay, and don't glue it yet. We'll write on it first, and then we'll glue it in after we write on it. Okay, so this is just going to be some examples of base and height, so you've got some in your composition book. and then we'll look at these and see if we can figure out where the base and height would be. Okay, so again, just set your scraps aside, and then let's look at number 1. Okay, so number 1 says the height of triangle ABC is BD. So what would be its base? If the height is BD, what would be its base on number 1? Oliver,
B plus D.
it'd be what?
B plus D. No, ADC.
The base is 2 letters. The height is B to D. So the base would be what, Caroline?
AC.
AC. AC is our base. So everybody put AC for number 1. AC is the base because it's got to come down and hit it perpendicular. Okay, number 2 is like our brick triangle up here. So the height of ABC is AC. So if the height is AC, then what is our base? Lex. CB. CB is our base. Okay, number 3 is like our black and white striped triangle. It's leaning backwards. So it says the base is TV. That's our base. So where would our height be, Mason?
UW.
UW. Yeah, it's out coming straight down. Okay, number 4, the base of EFG is FG. So where is its height, Caroline? EG. Okay, the base of triangle HIJ is H to J. So what is its height? Lex. IK. Okay, number 6 is a leaning backwards triangle. So it says its height is OQ. That's its height. So what is its base? What is its base, Caroline? Not NQ. Remember, P to Q is invisible. NP. Yes. Remember, P to Q is really not there. Okay, that's an invisible line in math. So N to P is its actual base, and then it's just extending it out just to show you that it would be perpendicular. Okay, number 7. The base of EFG is EG. So what would its height be, Lex? FH. Okay, number 8 is a leaning backwards triangle. Its base is XY. So what is its height? What is its height, Caroline?
WZ.
Say it one more time.
WZ.
Yes, that's correct. WZ. Number 9, again, a leaning backward. Again, it's the same thing every time. It's 3 different places you're going to find the base and height. So number 9, the height of QRS is QT. So what is its base? It's a leaning backward triangle. Lex. SR. And then number 10, the height of KLM is LN. Okay, that's the height. So what is its base? Maggie. KM. Okay, if you will glue that into your next empty page, and you want to get around the edges really well so that it gets in there really good. Okay, and then I'm going to come around and hand you a blue sheet. We're going to put one more set of examples in your composition book. So I'm going to hand you this blue sheet, and I'll tell you how to cut it in just a second. And then after this, we're going to do a game. Okay, so what are you doing? You were supposed to cut out the sheet and glue it in.
I thought you meant.
No, I clearly said what to do. All right, on this sheet right here, okay, let me show you how to cut this. Okay, see where it says chapter 6? You're gonna cut right beneath that. Straight across, right beneath where it says chapter 6. Okay, so I've cut that off on the top. Okay, right beneath where it says chapter 6. And then you're gonna cut a little off of each side.
You cut it all the way off like this?
You cut it all the way off, just like this. You cut underneath chapter 6, cut all the way, yeah, you got it, we're just cutting it down so it'll fit in our composition book.
I didn't know if you were gonna cut it off or not.
Okay, and then we're gonna cut, just cut each of the sides, just cut that extra off on each of the sides, and then you have a size that will fit in your composition book. So I just cut off a little bit on each of the sides, and then on the top. And then let's look at this sheet. And the reason I wanna do this one is because you're gonna have to turn your sheet sort of in the direction of what it tells you to use as the base. So that's especially why we don't wanna glue this in first, we're gonna look at it first. Okay, so, I need everybody to get this one cut, because you definitely need to be with me on this so that you're not confused.
So I just glue this in here.
Yes. It should look just like this. All we did was cut around the edge and glue the sheet in. Look, Oliver, that's all we were doing, cutting around. All we were doing was cutting it down so it fits in our book.
Like this.
Okay, let's look at this, okay? Now, this is a little bit harder, and it's only because you've got to read, because this has got more than one thing going on in number 1, okay? More than one thing going on. Okay, so it tells you to make the base of the triangle, make the base BC. Okay, so everybody find BC. So if BC is the base, okay, because again, you can move a triangle around. They don't have to sit in a certain place just like we did a minute ago. If the base is BC, what would the height be? If the base is BC, and again, remember the height has always got to come down to make a perpendicular line with the base. So if the base is BC, then what is the height, Julia? AD. Okay, now it tells you to look at the triangle a different way. Make the base AC. So I would turn my sheet so that it's sitting on its base. So if it's sitting on AC, we now have a leaning backwards triangle. Okay, if it's sitting on AC, we're now looking at it like it's a leaning backwards triangle. So if AC is our base and the height's got to come down and make perpendicular lines with the base, where would our height be if we decide to look at it as that the base is AC? So now we have a leaning backwards triangle. Lex.
It would be.
It's sitting on its base. Here's its base. It's leaning backwards. Here's its base. So where's the height come so that it comes down perpendicular?
I don't see it leaning backwards.
It's right here. It's the same triangle. It's sitting on its base now. It's sitting on its base and it's leaning this direction. So where would its height be? Caroline.
BE.
BE is its height. Yes, BE.
It said AC.
AC is the base, correct. Because we're turning our sheet upside down and looking at the triangle differently. It's just like if I had this triangle, okay, I could look at it a couple of ways. If I were looking at it this way, I'm finding the height here. If I'm saying this is the base, this is the height. Okay, I could look at it a different way. I could turn it this way and find the base and height. I could turn it this way and find the base and height. It's just that triangle is being moved to a different direction. Just like here, okay, I decided to make the base here and my height's out here invisible, but what if I decided to make my base here? If I made this my base, where's my height in this triangle? If I made my base here, where's my height? Yeah, middle straight down. I've changed it to look like that. Yeah, you can find the base and height in different places. It just depends on where they tell you. So this one tells us the base is AC, so the height's got to be BE. Okay, now it says make the base AB. Okay, so we're going to turn it this way. So again, sit it like it's sitting flat on its base. So it's saying the base is AB. Now we have a leaning backwards triangle, but it's going that way. So if our base is AB, then where's our height going to be, Caroline?
CF.
CF. CF is correct. Okay, let's look at the bottom. Okay, same thing. We have one triangle, but we're going to look at it in different ways. So we have triangle PQR. It says the height is PW. So everybody look, PW. If PW is the height of the triangle, where's the base? And again, it's always going to come down and hit the base at a perpendicular. So you know it's coming straight down. So where would the base of the triangle be if its height is PW? Julia? QR. Yes, it's a leaning backwards to the left triangle. Okay, now it says, what if the height is QX? Okay, so find QX. And I would turn my sheet upside down because you're looking at the height coming straight down from the middle. So the height is QX. So if my height is QX, then where is my base? Again, QX is coming straight down. So where's my base, Lex? PR. I mean, you can say those in either order. You could say RP or PR, so that doesn't matter when you're telling like where the base or height is. Okay, and then the last one says the height is RY. Okay, so look at the height RY. And again, it's a leaning backwards triangle. We're looking at it in a leaning backwards, so it's leaning back to the right. It's saying RY is our height. And again, it's got to come straight down and hit the base at a perpendicular line. And so where would our base be, Maggie? Okay, where would our base be, Lex?
QP.
Yes, PQ or QP. Yes. So that I just wanted you to look at it that way because you can find the height and base of triangles in different places. It's just basically where are they telling you the base is. So for instance, if the base were here on this triangle, I'd find the height here. But if the base is here, okay, then I'm finding it out here. So it just depends on where the base, where they're telling you the base is.